welcome to Cooking with Gina. My name is Gina Virginia Casella. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Gina Virginia Casella. And I'd love for you to join my Facebook group, Dragon Dreams. And don't forget to pick up one of your copies of my books, Dragon Dreams, on Amazon.ca, or you can also get it in Kindle. So what am I cooking today? Today I am making some kind of stew. It's going to be a really thick soup, if you will. And I thought it might be nice to roast the carrots. So I'm just working with ingredients I have on hand. That's what Cooking with Gina is all about. So I've got some carrots. Those I'm going to roast. I've got some celery. I'm going to put that in the sauce. I've got onion to put in the sauce. And I'm also going to roast, I forget what this is called, Brussels sprouts. I'm going to roast these as well. And the potatoes, I'm going to boil that up in the soup. I'm worried that if I bake potatoes, then my soup will kind of have like a French fry taste to it. I don't know. I don't want to do that. But I'm interested in just kind of roasting not kind of, but like totally roasting the carrots and the asparagus. So I'm just going to get myself organized and start peeling things. So I don't know if you can relate. I'm wondering if you're like me. I like to slice and dice everything, or at least peel it all before I start slicing and dicing things. That way I've already kind of done like part one in my mind. So that's what I'm doing right now, just going to peel my carrots. But what I just finished saying, I actually won't be doing that right now because I really want to get my carrots in the oven. And so I'm just feeling, not anxious, but just feeling like I need to play my cards right as far as organizing my time. Otherwise, I would peel this onion right now is what I'm trying to say. So, so because I'm going to be putting this in a soup, usually when I do stuff like this, I'll, okay, there we go. So the carrots, I'm already cutting them too thick, but I'm going to cut them about this thin. Basically, the ones that I sliced, I'm slicing them in half. There we go. Okay, now I'm feeling better about my carrots. So I'm just going to keep chopping these away. And I'll be right back. All right, so I got my carrots on my pan, and now I'm just going to be chopping these here. What I like to do is I like to cut the bottom part right off, and then I just cut it in half. If they're really big, then I'll cut them again in half. And because this is going into a soup, I think I'm just going to leave these whole, just like they are. Well, I mean, cut in half like this, because whether it's my intention or not, these are going to, peel away. It's just kind of like little mini heads of lettuce tend to do. So I was going to pause it, but I'll just keep you with me there for a second. It smells really good and fresh. I just try to cut down the core down the middle. So I'm wondering too, like maybe I want to boil these. I don't know. What do I want to do? Anyways, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put some olive oil, which is this one here. And I'm just going to sprinkle it on my carrots, sprinkle some here on my Brussels sprouts. And then I'm just going to use my hands to mix it up. Okay, and I'm going to turn my Brussels sprouts facing upwards. Okay, and that's ready to go inside my oven. So I'm just going to tidy up and I'm going to chop up my onion and potato and garlic. Okay, so now I'm going to be chopping up this onion. I'm going to peel it. I've also got my celery and my potatoes. I've got some cream of corn. This is Green Giant name brand. And I've got some Molisana, some strained tomatoes. And so usually when I'm cooking, I'll bring the water up to a boil and I'll start adding my ingredients. But when I'm making a big pot of soup or whatever, I'm going to add the ingredients first and then I'll fill it up with water. So I'm just going to chop up my onion right now and get busy doing that. So I'm just chopping up my onion. It smells fantastic. So my onions are chopped, going in the pot. My celery is chopped as well, also going into the pot. So when I'm, usually making soups and whatnot, I chop the celery pretty thin, but I chopped it into sizes like this just so you can actually eat it. It's to flavor the sauce, but it's also to like have as an ingredient. So I'm wondering about you and what do you do with celery? Do you just chop it up thin or do you put in some big pieces too? Let me know in the comments. I almost forgot to turn the camera on, so I'm just chopping up the potatoes now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice them up on the thicker side, because this is a stew. I have to keep that in mind. I really like my soups to be on the watery side. I like them to be thin, but I was asked today to make this chunky, so that's what I'm doing. So I think the potatoes are going to be about like this big. Maybe I'll slice them in half of that. I'll slice them half that size. So they're going to be about this big. So I'm just going to chop those up right now. All right, so I got my ingredients here in my pot. I'm going to add some salt and pepper just to like generally season it. But whenever I cook, I usually like to cook in a way that when my meals are finished, I like to add raw salt and pepper to it. I'm using Kirkland name brand. Ugh. There we go. If I can use cracked pepper, I like to use that, so I am today. And now what I'm going to do is just open up my sauce and cream of corn. All right, so in goes the cream of corn. I really like using cream of corn to make a soup thicker. Right. Usually, if it's a thicker can, I'll keep it. Beans are really good for that, and pineapple. I've got all kinds of cans for all kinds of things. Ugh, wondering about you. So I'm going to add maybe like one thing of one bottle of water just to kind of like rinse it out. But I'm not going to fill the whole bowl up with water because I'm making a stew. So I have to remember that. So I filled half this up with water. I'm not measuring. It's just like to get the rest of the sauce that's in there. And if I feel like I need to add more, I can always add more. But again, my intention is to make a stew. And I still got my carrots to add in here. Oh, looks like it's going to have a nice consistency. So I'm going to bring this to a boil on high. because I've got my potatoes in there. And then I'll reduce it. And I'm also going to check on my stuff in the oven, the Brussels sprouts and carrots. So they're coming along really nicely. Of course, I left my oven mitts upstairs. I think I'm just going to take over a cupboard down here and keep some regular stuff in there for myself. So what I want to do is I just want to mix the stuff around a little bit. I really love the, let me bring you closer here, the contrast of the green and orange. It's always nice to have carrots on the side. I grew up having a lot of corn and peas on the side. We ate our carrots pretty much raw all of the time. Yeah, but something like this in a bowl I think would be really, really nice. So I'm just going to put it back into the oven. And the carrots are pretty much almost there, but the Brussels sprouts needs more time for sure. I'm just going to put them face down this time. There. I was just realizing I forgot to chop up the garlic. Oh well. I'll just save it for tomorrow. It's really not a big deal. I was also having a little laugh to myself because I was thinking how dark it is. And it's like, you know, every year I go through this like it's the first time all over again, how it gets darker in the winter and brighter in the summer. And I'm wondering about you. I'm wondering how your routine is going. Fall is always a rough one for me. Why? I'm the kind of person who needs more sleep. And so when I'm not feeling well, I need even extra sleep. And in the fall, I need extra sleep. And I usually deprive myself of that sleep. And so I like to be in bed physically at 7:30 at night. And I like to be like lights out 8:30, 9 o'clock is like a late night for me. And even now I find in the fall, giving myself that grace, trying to actually be in bed for 6:30, 7 o'clock, even 6 o'clock. You know, and I have my alarm set for 5:10 a.m. so that I can get busy with my evening routine because I do cooking with Gina. I, you know, watch the video. I upload the thumbnail. Um, by the time I, you know, rewatch it just to make sure it's fine, by the time I shower, like it's already 4:30, 5:30. If I can sneak another show in, I find if I'm live on, like if I'm a guest, like last night I was a guest on Typical Skeptic, I like to rewatch those just to, I think it's good, like reflective practice to do so. So wondering about you, but the point is like, my day's pretty full, you know, and I require a lot of transition time. So, anyways, I was feeling discouraged because my fitness routine, in particular, every fall it takes a hit. But I had to remind myself I'm a seasonal person. So, you know what? In the fall, hey, the physical plane's not really there. That's okay. That's who I am. So, I'm wondering about you. And also this morning, Rosie and I, we like to wake up at 4:10 typically in the fall, winter, and then in the spring, summer, we like to be up at 3:10. But this time of year, we need more sleep. So this morning, actually, we were both up at like 3:30ish. We didn't get out of bed, but it just made me feel good that we were up and we were awake. And then I fell back asleep and I woke up again at around 4 o'clock. And so I thought, this is good. Like my body is probably responding to the environment outside. the amount of darkness, the amount of light, even though I'm personally not conscious of it, my body is. It's getting in sync with those rhythms, because it's hard to believe, but winter is, it's actually the first day is December 21st. So it's still technically fall. And on that first day of winter, it starts to get lighter outside, even though we consider it the season of dreams. But somewhere in the world, it starts to get darker as well. So I guess season of dreams applies to them a bit more too. But nevertheless, wintertime is darker than the summer. But anyways, so I'm just thinking about you. And also, I'm trying to, start a new schedule as well. So my days off are Sunday and Monday, and it was challenging in a positive way. It was challenging, though, not to do any administrative work for Dragon Dreams other than be like a guest on Typical Skeptic. I didn't do anything to do with it. And I'm also in the process of getting my links together and transferring from Email Octopus to Email Chimp. So I wonder if anybody out there can relate. And I think I'm going to be making videos about how to create a landing page. And because you know what, it's pretty easy. And I'm sure there's lots of people that I could have paid money to spend time with, but just I really appreciated going on YouTube for free and just people sharing their knowledge for things like that, like how to set up KDP for Kindle Direct Publishing. Um, just little quick videos. So I think I would like to do that. And I also made myself a to-do list, and I scratched it out, and I was like, this is not a to-do list. This is a becoming list. Remember, it's becoming list. So my becoming list, I was going over it, just, setting at glance some goals for 2025. And it's interesting because as a public school teacher, I think every teacher can relate to this, but every August is like, those last few days, that's our Christmas, if you will. And then the first day of school in September is our January, if you will. That's our new year. So the new school year has been my January for like pretty much my whole life up until these past few years. And even during these past few years, I was desperately trying to sync my life with that teacher schedule. I was trying to make myself available for the teachers, pro Ds and whatnot, their district-wide professional development days, their provincial pro D days. And anyways, I just feel excited. I feel excited. And my work days are feeling more like party days, and less is more. And I'm realizing it's better to serve folks in group sessions because serving you privately, the feedback I'm getting, it costs too much money, and I'm not able to service enough of you. There's only one of me, right? So I feel like that's good feedback because I'm more than happy to offer group sessions. It's easier for me. And I really like the idea of having maybe like 2 groups on the go, maybe 3 groups on the go, and then all of those groups sharing in the same check-in day, So I think that would be really nice. So anyways, I've always got lots to say. And this morning I was up early, but I wasn't dancing. My body was too tired, and that's okay. So, wondering about you. What's going on? Let me know. I remember when COVID-19 first came out, everybody got their panties in a knot about platforms like Zoom and Skype. And I remember going to a professional development where somebody taught us how to use Zoom, and it was just like very stressful and whatnot. And I think back to that, and it's like, it just goes to show you when the blind is leading the blind, because Zoom is very user friendly to use, And the person who trained us never used Zoom before, so they had to like speed learn it and then speed teach it to us. And it's like, no wonder it was stressful. And I think if I made a video just on some general basics about Zoom, that would be fun. And essentially, when I was facilitating for my union, the British Columbia Teachers Federation, before we would start a meeting, I would review some Zoom etiquette anyway, so people knew, like, where they could raise their hand and where they could find the chat and just participate lightly in those kind of ways, change their backgrounds if they wanted to. So I think back to a lot of things in my life, and it's like, wow, if only I recorded myself. I wonder about you. Do you think back to your life and you're like, wow, I should have made a video about that, like maybe changing a tire or how to, um, change an oil filter in a car or anything. Maybe when you built your own speaker or how you put your garden together at home, why you decided to put the carrots over there and the peas over there, I don't know. And then I'm wondering if you've ever like made a video or if maybe you would consider making one these days. It's really easy to do on Zoom, or you can just do it right on YouTube, right on Rumble. Um, Personally, I like to do it on Zoom first and pre-record it, and then I can upload it. And I usually delete my copy anyways, but I'm finding um, like if you have something on YouTube, it's easy to share it on Facebook, but you can't share something on Facebook to Rumble, you see. So if you have it on your cell phone or saved on your computer, then you can upload it to YouTube, share it on Facebook, and then you can upload it onto Rumble. And then I'm learning the curves, and it's like each platform has its buddy system. And I'm noticing that too with MailChimp and things like Stripe. And then depending on packages, you can have everything and more, right? So, anyways, I didn't want to have a website, but it looks like with MailChimp, I just get a website included um, with their thing I'm using, anyways. And as far as creating a domain name, I think I might get one if my understanding is correct. If I only have to pay $25 for a year, then I think that's worth it. But if I'm paying $25 for a month, then I don't know if I want it. I need to investigate that. Even though I took my 2 days off, I still feel like, whew, it was a lot of information for me to process. I'm just thinking too that the person who wanted me to make this mentioned a bok choy, so I should probably just get that out of the fridge while I'm thinking about it. And that's going to be something that I add like right at the last minute. I might even like if we sit down together to eat, I'll throw it in the big pot, or if we eat separately, I'll just put it in the individual bowls. So I'm going to do that now. So just chopping the bok choy here. Something I also like to add to soup is spinach. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to leave this off to the side, and I'm going to get the stuff out of the oven and add it to my pot.